Hello, friends, and welcome back to IEN as we're diving into our match of Overwatch for the day. My name is Narco. I'm here with Cracked Wisdom, and I'm very happy to be guesting on in for Overwatch here with such a fantastic caster. This is a guy that I've been working with quite a bit as of late, and he really is a master of so many different disciplines. So it is an honor, Cracked Wisdom, to be diving into this matchup with you.
As always, Nyarko, I am honoured and thoroughly grateful for the opportunity to be able to sit next to you on the caster desk. And a massive shout out and thank you to the guys in the background of the production that decided to grace me with this wonderful opportunity. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it tenfold. Here, Indiana Esports Network, sat right next to you, Nyarko, here for some amazing Overwatch 2 today. I cannot wait to see these two sides go up against each other. I believe we are featuring Lawrence, North, and Snider Varsity sides facing off today in this wonderful Overwatch 2 environment.
Definitely the case, and this is about as close as you could get to a guaranteed banger on our hands for this series here in week number 6 of competition. Snider Varsity Overwatch currently sits at 5-0 on our League OS portal, while Lawrence North Varsity is currently sitting at 4-1, and I think they're looking to tie the top of the tables here by bringing down Snider just a peg. We're going to see whether or not they're going to have the capacity by which to do so here, but certainly both of these teams so far have carved out quite the names for themselves, and them meeting here is basically fated.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a chance for Lawrence North to take that 4-1 record to 5-1 to put themselves in the lead further, or for Snider Varsity to continue their undefeated streak. 4-0 on the record for that so far. And this is the game that we're going to be sliding on into very shortly for you guys at home. I cannot wait to see this. And as we are going to get warmed up for this game, let's warm you guys up in the emotion section. Let's get you guys involved with what's going on behind the scenes and some of the skill and perfection and performance in these players here, as we're going to jump on board with the Snider side inside a little sneak peek into the dressing room.
Yeah, absolutely. All these players getting ready to go, and you can see just the extent to which the infrastructure is being built out for esports at these schools. I think that this is an incredible testament to the fact that right here and now, this is going to be the future of college athletics, coming on in, playing on esports, but right here in high school, they're already getting their feet wet at the highest level in terms of the hardware that they're packing and their ability to play. Those are curved monitors. I don't even have that at my house here.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, of all the amazing casts I've been able to be fortuitous of being a part of, I don't think I've seen a curved monitor in a long time, I'll be honest with you. I think the only thing that's been curved is either some of the balls in the sports pitches we've been commentating on, or some of the bullets on some of these great matches in Overwatch, Valorant, and other sports alike. So as we start to wind on into this game here, you're going to get to see a combination of what happens when people put support behind some of these amazing, young, talented players, and then we get to see what they do with that on screen inside of the game.
Absolutely, and as we dive on into game number 1, we have Landfest for building healthy gaming communities, and with 23 chapters across 18 states and over 150 events a year, there's certainly something near you. So you can find an event at landfest.com. Make sure that you drop a follow. Make sure that you also join the Discord. But now let's get on to Busan.
Yeah, if you're not sure which events is best, don't forget Landfest. It rhymes for a reason. That's because it's pure gold in both the words and the way that it plays out on screen. We are glad to be here today, and they are ready for battle. We're going to roll on. Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
Yeah, very excited for this. Of course, capture point map. This is one of my favorites. Incredibly diverse strategies are viable here because there's very tight corridors that you could try to force through. There's also open areas by which you could look for stuff as crazy as boops off the map, things of that nature. And I'm loving the fact that we are getting such diverse compositions here on the countdown. Notably, I always like to look at the supports here because that is the role that I typically play, but we're seeing Sweet on Mercy alongside Lish on Zenyatta. And I've said it time and time again, you've heard it, Cracked Wisdom, I'm not the biggest fan of the Mercy, especially given that you don't get a lot of healing out of the Zen, but maybe it's just the case that the Red Squad is looking to push on hard. Lawrence North just wants to annihilate people and not have to worry about the healing. Let's see what the dynamic is going to be here, as right now Blueberry's already about half health, representing the other side. They're trying to push in. Unfortunately, Blue already taken out. Going to be traded back for Tizen 21 there for Lawrence. Snider trying to stabilize now, but they're going to also lose Hello on this first initial engage. Batu doing a great job creating this bulwark that is very hard to push past. Blueberry, though, going to continue to go on the aggressive side of things, but Stuffed Chicken is on the flank of a lifetime, and that is going to help the Red Squad get first cap.
Yeah, Snider Varsity came out of the gates a little bit more sluggishly than Lawrence North did there, stepping up all 5 members strong. If you were watching the health bars from each of the 2 teams from the top of your screens there, you'll have seen that the blue health bars were starting to melt very quickly and consecutively, also consistently next to each other, all 5 members being hit at the same time, and that leveraged the advantage for Lawrence North in that first opening engagement. Now as we see them with 17% to their advantage here, they're going to try and double down on this aggression, but it looks like Snider Varsity are going to have a little bit of something to say about that right now.
Snider doing a great job trying to play aggressively here, but notably, I love the response coming out of Lawrence in particular. They're heavily pressuring Blue, who is getting good pot shots off, but so far, no crucial picks coming through against the red team. And what that means is that right now, while things are staying at a 5v5, I'm a little bit afraid that while this Widowmaker does get damage, they aren't necessarily playing to their full potential. And look at the response. Stuffed Chicken is an absolute monster here on this Soldier 76. Sweet is now going to move over into Valkyrie form, being able to heal on everybody, and that is going to be enough to push back 4 members of Snider Varsity and have them start a re-engage in just a few seconds.
Yeah, and it's almost like Lawrence North might have delved into a little bit of that Nyako wisdom flowing so perfectly there as they storm their way through to a strong 40% additional gap advantage push towards their control now. Strong again with all 5 members shoulder to shoulder, not being found out of position thus far, having the better advantage through these choke points when it comes to their tempo. And as we see ultimates being cast in the middle here, this might be the turnaround for Snider Universe. Wow, it is 3 strong, 2 for Blueberry, 1 for Blue, as all the Blues coming together for the 3-piece. Snider actually managed to hold something back here. She nearly said University, but Varsity University coming through strong.
And that was an interesting call right there by the side of Lawrence North Varsity to push that far up. They know that Blueberry is starting to crest towards that ultimate, and unfortunately, when you're putting Lish right on top of them, there's no way for the Zenyatta to get out, and by the time that they had fallen alongside everybody else off of that Orisa burst, it was enough for the recap to come through. Snider now has to hold onto it, but notably, there is 3 ultimates available here for the enemy team to try to make a mark. Dragonblade coming out, Lish popping the Transcendence, and now it's destruction on the back line as that both support's dead in an instant. Blue gone as well. Blueberry sure to follow, and Brady will die as well for the full-on 5-0 team kill, and that recap should be enough for Lawrence to put away this first part of the map.
It should be, unless Snider managed to get there quickly. I will be honest, the one smart play from the Snider side, if you can call anything from the back of that great play out of Lawrence North, is the fact that they still have 2 ultimates of their own to be able to leverage against this. Did not burn them into the 3 ultimates used by Lawrence North, so if they're going to make anything happen here, they're not going to with 99%. It's overtime. The point is contested. Is it going to be enough? 2 ultimates spent down. People are starting to flood through to the point. It is still currently being contested on that 99-point percentile. Are we going to see them close at home, Nyako? 2 go down on the point. Tizen responds with 1. It's all happening, all hot and all a mess in the middle, but I think that's going to be just about it. Final member Brady is about to be collapsed upon as Vatu finds 2. Tizen finds the 3rd. Oh boy, that's going to be it. What a closeout. Strong from Lawrence North. Snider really pushed their best into that to try and contest, but just not enough at the end.
You gotta credit Snider Varsity, though. That was an incredible fight, given the fact that their tank Blueberry was picked so early in it. It was a 4v5 for quite a while, but Lish fell, and from that point onwards, we saw multiple people go down. I really thought that we could have seen the recap. Unfortunately, the dynamic was just not fully there, and now we are going to get a small swap in our compositions as we move over to Hangar. I think this is the most chaotic of the maps, being fully enclosed. It allows for things like Tsunami Kid to go onto this Lucio, and I think that this is a great call. The fact that Lawrence North Varsity has been able to profit so much by going Mercy Zenyatta should be something that changes here. I like the alterations to their side. While we're still seeing Sweet and Lish on these picks, these are 2 very independent DPS picks, and Vatu is able to stabilize for a long while without healing. So now the question is, how is Snider going to be playing around the red side composition, as we are going to meet up top. This is the classic place that you see on the Hangar map. Big Rock coming through. We're looking at Stuffed Chicken, who for the most part has been benefiting from really big flank angles, but clearly can play frontline as well. Reaper trying to get on top of a rezzing Mercy, and Sweet will be able to get out alive. Stuffed Chicken not so lucky, and Lish is just going to die on the re-engage. Brady will trade his life for 2, but I think that might be enough for the side of Snider to slowly start making their way towards that central control point. Tsunami Kid staying barely alive. Hellos is going to be able to help heal this character up with a few armor packs, and while Tizen is still dead, that means that now the percentiles are beginning to tick up for the side of Snider.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Snider taking the advantage here off of a great early burst of aggression down onto that stuffed chicken member you see from Lawrence North. Had their health reduced to below 25% HP and required a vast amount of burst healing to come out from the Lawrence North lineup to keep them alive, and that then just began to open the floodgates for the Varsity side from Snider to be able to sort of push that aggression home, swapping targets, picking one off to begin with and then capitalizing following through. Got themselves that early advantage, but then Snider finds himself in a great position. 29% to their advantage at the moment, and they're finding a really strong defense, but 3 quick kills come in, and it's going to find themselves leveled actually 3-3 as Blue picks up Sweet on the back end of that play. It's all happening now, and it's getting picked up again. A great kill comes in. Oh boy, it's messy.
Vaatu with an incredibly accurate shot to the back of a retreating Brady will be able to stagger out the blue side team, and that means that Lawrence North Varsity are going to go for the recap here. Very dicey situation. I thought that could have fallen apart given the fact that Stuffed Chicken did fall early in that engage, but it doesn't matter. Lawrence will be able to stop the takeover before the cresting of 50% by the blue squad side, and that means that in regards to ult charges and things of that nature, they are even. They just have to hold.
Yeah, it looks good for the side of the ult charges, though, when it comes to Snider. We see Helos on 99 trip, just transcending to that 100% mark now, finding that beautiful golden tick that's going to come to their advantage. Oh my goodness!
Stuffed Chicken getting the better of the Cassidy ult exchange there. Blue only able to pick off Sweet. Didn't really matter as look at the stabilizing force. A team kill. Lawrence North Varsity right back on the high horse that they were on in that first map. Let's see whether or not they can completely dominate Busan with the 2-0.
I did not see that coming. It caught me off guard, Nyako. I might as well have been going for a grip towards what seemingly was a hot coffee, and then you take a sip and you realize it was the coffee that you'd made 2 hours ago. Long lost and forgotten. The heat definitely not missing from the barrel of that gun as 3 quick capitalizing kills on the point, claim them control, and then the advantage in the percentage. They push themselves to 55% now as the contest comes in strong from Snider and they reapproach.
This should be enough for Snider. Blue has been taken out, but they have that orbital laser from Tsunami Kid doing so much to stabilize. Death Blossom pop doesn't do enough. Tizzin is going to put a stop to that rampage, and I spoke too soon. Even as the cap is almost there, we're taking up to 70%. Lish is back here as the stabilizing force. Lawrence North Varsity will be able to weather the storm and somehow come out on top.
Yeah, Snider came out swinging real strong, took the percentage advantage, even had a good defense and being able to repel the initial approach from Lawrence North. But once Lawrence North have got themselves back in control of this control point, it is all guns up all day long. You shall not pass and you shall not contest without giving your entire life for it. The one thing that has looked really good in these engagements so far from Lawrence North is the extended trades have left with some of the more crucial players leaving with 10% of their HP left alive rather than falling for the full commit and being able to be caught out on numbers at the end to close it out. Once that happens, Lawrence North have been very good at putting aggression down and capitalizing on the numbers advantage.
Something to note, the cap did come through. It is going to be Snider Varsity stopping it at the 99 percentile, but it's going to take a lot of resources with which to do so. Helos has already burned their rally. Blueberry has the rampage up, but they are unfortunately not up alongside it, and so this is going to be the chance of a lifetime for Lawrence North Varsity to put it away here and now. Vaatu trying to fight through, but unfortunately it's the base of the face, and that is going to be the tank falling in time for Blueberry to make their way back towards the battle. Lish and company need to find a new angle in, but Lawrence North Varsity are actually now the ones being pressured on time. 82% already ticked up for the side of Snider, and while Tsunami Kid is picked, that might not be enough. Here we see the approach. Stuffed Chicken swap it over to the Widowmaker. Gotta be able to pick up 2 in the span of a few seconds, and looking for even more, and yet again, I must bite my tongue and hold my words, because Lawrence North Varsity are looking to dominate. Sweet picked off. Big anti-heal coming through from the rampage of Blueberry, but it doesn't look like it's enough. Blue firing off the bomb, wanting to answer back, and that is going to be enough for somehow Snider to walk away with the victory.
I am recovering my jaw from the floor because boy oh boy did Snider floor the accelerator pedal right at the end of that game there to rob Lawrence North blind at 99%. The charge, the resurgence was strong. They gave everything, the kitchen sink and even the next door neighbor's oak tree thrown at the point to try and take it back. But Snider stands strong in game map point 2. Wow, what a play.
Yeah, that was an incredible showing there, and this demonstrates why the top of the leaderboard here in IEN is so darn competitive. Down to a percentage point, we are going to see Lawrence North Varsity be brought to a map number 3 here, and well, the first map. I really got to figure out exactly what terminology I'm using on that front, because what? You aren't going to call this whole thing a map right here? Regardless, I love the dive composition that is coming out of Snider now. The very classic Winston, backed by Tsunami Kid on the Kiriko with Hellos on the Lucio. Unfortunately, doesn't seem to be paying off right now because that's already the Lucio and the Winston dead. Meanwhile, Stuffed Chicken is going to escape by the hair of their chinny chin chin and look for another engage. IHSEN too far forward, going to be called out here. Luckily, this could be an angle by which Snider can continue to gain ground. Right now, Cap slowly ticking up in favor of Lawrence North Varsity, and they are finally going to lock it in, but this isn't time for a re-engage. Unfortunately, Tsunami Kid picked off once again. Great stuff coming out of side of Lawrence North Varsity, in particular Stuffed Chicken, who's already at the 60% milestone in terms of their ult charge, and that is a great indicator for who is currently out on top. They're able to speed run towards that pickup. Now, on the other side, we are seeing Blue trying to do what they can, but with the low health bar, Tracer has to play hit and run. They can't go for the sustained engages that I think the rest of the team wants to go for, and we see when Blue overstays, they are immediately called out. Hellos is going to fall as well, and the dominoes are just not stacking in favor of Snider right now. So far, Lawrence North Varsity have not only gotten themselves the points, but they've gotten themselves incredible advantages in regards to their ult charge.
And did we see a little bit of a swap out from characters here from Snider in the middle of that changeover there? A couple of quick kills actually deciding to make them adjust the approach on this here as we see IHSEN getting one sweep picks up. Oh my days. This Widowmaker is making sniping look just beautiful as some flawless shots fire out. They don't find a home just yet on the head, but it's definitely delighting me in entertainment when it comes to how the Widowmaker plays. One of those more niche characters that really falls into a certain specific player's playstyle. You're either exceptionally good at sniping or you find yourself better off on some of these more automatic characters such as the Tracer's melting his magic clean on screen.
Hey, I will have you know your cracked wisdom. Tracer is probably the hardest character in the game. Do not doubt what it takes for IHSEN to make the moves like he currently is. Absolutely beautiful flank across the side. Looking for even more. Package bomb available. Just trying to force back to Lucio. And this could be a full-on shutout. What a sea change, given the fact that Lawrence North Varsity fumbled that second point here on Busan. Now, on Temple, they are doing a great job. Already at 87%. 2 ultimates in the back pocket. They're looking to just dominate Snider right now.
Yeah, and at this point in time, you need a little bit something just shy of a miracle to be able to pull it back. At 96% with the control point, not even being contested at this moment in time. It is going to be contested at the overtime, but it's not going to be contested for very long, as I'm expecting Lawrence North to take this home. They made one adjustment, Yako. They made one crucial, critical switch. They did not give them anything off the opener of this game so that they were in chance to be able to snipe the map out. It was dominant from the beginning, and as the point is being fought over player for player, we are seeing 2 apiece being knocked down right now, and the health bar on Sweet is also starting to fall a little low. Sweet goes down. Blueberry claims that one. Latu finds Helios in the trade. This is going a little bit messy for a second here, actually, Nyako. Are we about to see a swap?
Yeah, could be the call here. That being said, overtime is burning on down, and that is going to be enough. No chance for a swap or anything like that. Lawrence North Varsity Overwatch will just take the first map.
It was very close there. I thought we were going to see a little bit of a spicy ending to a game that might have just dragged on a little longer than Lawrence North would have liked. But again, we have to commit and compliment to this confidence from the Lawrence North side. Not allowing Game 2 to phase them, especially in such a critical manner where they get almost the game robbed from them through some great successful pressure from Snider. But game number 3 is just all dominant all day long, and the highlights flowing over your screen. You see IHSEN going absolutely crazy on that Genji.
Yeah, and you can see Snider on this side, atmosphere a little bit more somber, but also at the same time, very much calculating, strategizing, attempting to figure out what the angle is here for the second map in this best of 3. There is definitely a chance to tie this one up and take it to a decider. So what is the dynamic going to be? I do want to also credit, though, if you're looking at one of our wonderful sponsors, League OS's portal, how many people are making sure that the Snider esports program run. There's multiple people looking over their shoulders, talking to each other, strategizing, building up these players, and I think that that is an incredible credit to them. And by the way, if you do want to also see exactly what I'm talking about, if you want to look at these rosters, or you are a college scout who is looking to bring one of these people to your side upon graduation, make sure that you guys are checking out the League OS portal. This is the place that you go to if you want to play esports in college, because there's people time and time again who are being pulled on into programs with those wonderful scholarships because they're demonstrating and strutting their stuff at the high school stage through League OS. This is the exact place that you want to be as a coach, as a player, player as a viewer. So make sure that you guys drop a follow and get on in logged to the LoGoS portal, because they're also not only looking for players, they're looking for shoutcasters, social media managers, and so much more. Now, we are diving into Rialto here. This is going to be the second map, a full-on push extravaganza, and one of the most dicey ones. There's multiple places where you can get booped off, pulled off, and that's probably why we're seeing stuff like Lil Mosh Pit going over onto this Roadhog here for Snider Varsity. But this is one where also there's such a great chance to just absolutely roll through things on offense, right? You can get a point, get a second point off of another one fight, and all of a sudden you're trying to fight inside of the base.
Well, I'm glad you noticed it, because I also spotted it coming out too. The Roadhog, one definitely there for the highlight reel when it comes to plays. If they are able to grab one of those critical hooks onto one of the squishier DPS characters and pull them away from the support for just enough time for the rest of the team to be able to swamp them and suffocate them out of the round, that could be the crucial difference maker looking from Snider Varsity, as Blue gets immediately annihilated out of the early opener of this round from, again, that Widowmaker we talked about the last game, just doing so much work.
Yeah, that was a very impressive showing there. Tizen playing right on the razor's edge. It is so difficult to trade back and forth between a Sojourn and a Widowmaker just due to the burst damage on either side. It really is dicey who can hit their shots better, as we are going to see Twizzy from the side of Snider actually land some very solid hits of his own before going down, trading back against Lish. Tizen has fallen in kind though, and so far this is looking very evenly matched.
Yeah, very evenly matched is right. And if those of you are just joining us in the middle of this, is game 2 from the best of 5. The moment Lawrence North capitalizing on a very confident performance in the first game. Snider Varsity definitely not struggling to perform as well throughout, but at the end of the day, Lawrence... Wow, this is going to be talking point. Talk about the hook coming in straight off the rip.
Yep, this is quite a desperate fight right now. Lawrence North Varsity just can't get a rally point going, and so therefore we are seeing the payload get stuffed and stopped for the time being. I think that one thing you may need to do is actually mirror what we're seeing out of the side of Snider and swap to an Ana. You need the anti-heal to get through the immense health bar and healing power that is being pumped upon Lil Mosh Pit right now, because as far as this is going, I don't think that this Mercy Kiriko combo is working. Lish picked off again. Blue says 2 can play that sniper game. In fact, going to force the enemy side off of it. Stuffed Chicken and company only now rotating back towards this Widowmaker, but we aren't seeing that much in the way of ults being crested by Lawrence North Varsity. And in kind, Snider have dug their heels on in, and they are playing this defense perfectly now. 3 ultimates, 4 ultimates available. We are going to see the visor being used. Blue is going to be able to see everybody on the map, and that is perfect for when Twizzy gets back up with that Death Tire available. Tsunamiku and Helios try to push forward. 3 ults still available, looking to defend this point. The Kitsune rush back on in alongside turboing up Lil Mosh Pit off the back of Hello's ultimate could be enough to ensure that we won't see a single point out of Lawrence North Varsity.
Yeah, it looks like at this moment in time they are managing to level the aggression that has been sent against them. Again, Blue popping onto this Widowmaker to try and also make their stake on the game, but Genji gets into the backline and picks out that Widowmaker we were just talking about. Twizzy responds with one onto Lish. Elias responds onto one with Genji, then falling down after such a great play and positioning. It looked so good, but then it fell apart a little bit in the middle.
Yeah, Lil Mosh Pit using that ultimate, trying to force people off, will be able to get the payload backpedaling once again. Stuffed Chicken aiming down the sights, already on the ground floor. That's not where you want to be on this Widowmaker, but there's just very, very difficult things pushing back against your ability to find good vantage points. I like the sneaky call, just trying to rope up top. If you get a pick onto one of these supports, this could be game over. Love the response, especially with the visor still available. Here comes Vatu. He swapped over to the Sigma, and it's paying dividends. That's Hello's picked off to start things off. No ultimate available to use to save one of their comrades. So now it's up to Sinomuku and company to be able to bring it back. Still has the Kitsune rush up. Twizzy still looking for an angle for the Riptire. Blue has gotten back up to an ultimate of their own. Things stabilizing for the time being as we have another lull in the fight. Twizzy just working around this corner, trying to ricochet their balls off the side, looking to get an opportunistic pick, then move to an angle where they can begin to use this Riptire.
Yeah, absolutely, and Snider actually coming out with Fury from above, flying over that payload and on top of this Lawrence North lineup, catching them almost off guard. A little bit by surprise as the Genji is going to again drop into this backline, and oh my word, he's going to go nuts.
Yeah, Hell is picked up again. Once more, we don't see the Ana ult being used, but Tsunami Kid is able to do a ton off the back of their ultimate. The Kitsune Rush is actually going to stop the roll of Tizen and prevent too many people from falling, but still, we have finally seen Lawrence North crested over to control of the point. They may finally be able to get a bit more time back on the clock, but they need to do it here and now on this shove, as it is currently into overtime. Fatu with a beautiful pick right there up against Swizzy. Blue is going to fall as well, and finally, it looks like Lawrence North Varsity are going to get a reprieve and a second shot at life.
That was so close to being all over then. Snider had the entire Lawrence North side, except from Licious health bar, down in that less than 10% margin. The Genji surviving on mere double-digit HP for moments there until they were able to repel the aggression. But whether they did, and whether it's right at the edge of the limit or with half of your health still left, if they're not down in the dirt, it makes the difference. The 5 stands strong. The Snider lineup crumbles and collapses, and Lawrence North are going to start to get their second chance coming towards their fruition as they push under this archway.
Soldier v Soldier mirror matchup here on the vantage point. Looks like things are eventually going to devolve back into full-on team fight mode, though. Sweet notably has the Valkyrie available alongside Stuffed Chicken having the tactical visor, but so far it looks like Snider's doing a really good job calling out any of the flank angles that Stuffed Chicken is trying to take. That being said, Lish having the Transcendence available as well means that this is now going to be a much more difficult defense, especially as Snider are going to lose blue right there.
Yeah, Twizzy finds one onto Sweet, and that's going to be the beginning of the Reaper's work as he steps down and in. But actually, Tizen's going to rinse Twizzy back to where he came from. Helios gets one onto Stuffed Chicken as the action starts firing out across this open corridor between the archways and where we've previously been now as we see Tizen also finding extra aggression. Little Mosh Pit swipes Lish out of that.
This is great stuff coming out of both of these teams. Lil Mosh Pit saw the weak point, decided to rush on in, and that is a very risky thing to do on Junker Queen, one of the less tanky of the tanks in this game, but still able to prevent a brutal push from the side of Lawrence North Varsity and give Snider the time to re-engage as a 5-stack. Blue is dead once more, but hopefully once they're back up, we will see the defense and an attempt to stop the Red Squad side from getting over to point number 2, as currently we are nearing it. One more one fight, one way or the other can decide this game, as now it's Blue up top, unleashing, trying to free fire. Here comes the Transcendence. Lish maybe a little bit too late on that one. Both DPSs are gone, and so Lawrence North Varsity will need to try to fight one more time, but unfortunately, they may be denied that opportunity. It's Hellfire from above. Batu with a desperation ult, may be able to get one on the fadeaway, but no, it is Blue definitely landing shots up against the tank to ensure that Lawrence North Varsity is now going to be staggered for the last 20 seconds.
Yeah, and it feels like suffocation is the story of success when it comes to the Snider Varsity line here. Definitely doing a much better job of not overcommitting to those fights. When it came to the control match, we saw them losing game 1 and capitalizing on a better positional playstyle when it came to game 2. This is the payload push. Game 2 showing that their strength is within maybe a slightly different type of game. The control maybe not suiting the lineup and then finding
Console's coming out. Twizzy looking for the Death Blossom ultimate right on top of the Soldier 76. He's going to be out-traded before he can even pop that. And this may be the chance of a lifetime. Lawrence North Varsity walking forward, but Blue with the hero play taking out 2. Hellas is going to knock out Vatu. And with Sweet the last one standing, that will be enough to hold them to a single point.
So close, so close. Even closer than we were for the final defense, the final stand from the last match where Snider sniped home one of the rounds there for them. Lawrence going to stand with a strong 92.94 meter distance.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. Obviously, this is a defender-sided first point to a degree just because of all the high angles you could take. But like I said, if you fall early, the chance for you to just steamroll through the first point, then the second with plenty of time to go means that Snider Varsity has the first big test right at the beginning of this one. And from there, it should be easy pickings. So we're going to see whether or not Lawrence North Varsity can hold the line here and perhaps just walk away with the series 2-0.
I mean, it's possible. It really is possible. From a great showing of strength, this could be a way to potentially clap back from that original round 1 that was taken by the Lawrence North Varsity in this extended best of 5. What a way to show strength when it comes to suffocating off of that payload. This is one of those game modes that really does rely on the tempo that Overwatch 2 brings to the competitive environment, slightly different to those shooters that you see from the likes of the arena combat shooters. It's just about having that numbers advantage and being able to play as a synergistic group of 5 people coming together as one united mind. That's where the advantage is found. Now talk to me about the lineups, because there's not too much of a change so far, seeming the same as to what we expected, I guess, at the end of the back round there, Nyako.
Well, what I really like is that Tizen is going over to the Mei. This is basically a functional second tank for the side of Lawrence North Varsity, and notably, Tizen has proven to be very, very accurate on characters like the Widowmaker, and that's going to be a huge boon when you can play Mei and just snipe away with icicles. But something else to talk about is the snipe effect that we had from Batu. An incredible hook to start things off, bringing Lil Mosh Pit into the briny deep, and unfortunately, nobody in this game can swim.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we might have made them a little bit shy in the beginning of game number 2, calling out that the Roadhog was going to be a great pick, and we were excited to see it happen. But the moment we stopped talking about it is the moment we let our guard down, and that hook comes out, and it pays dividends as one gets physics straight off of that map, and an early drink bath for them. Wow, Sleep's going to be ruthless. As Lil Mosh Pit is actually going to find Batu after that great play to open up for Snider.
And I really don't want to hammer onto it, but this is a place where you really need something like a Kiriko. You cannot have an anti-heal character facing off against a Roadhog. And in fact, instead of having Sweet or Lish swap, instead Batu is going to go over to Sigma. And while the Sigma is great, this feels like a major hole in the composition of Lawrence North Varsity, as this is a one fight by the side of Snider, who are looking to just immediately jam to second point with plenty more time on the clock than what Lawrence North were afforded.
Yeah, and absolutely, the composition is crucial into each other here, but I think the map also is lending itself to some of the plays like this as Blue finds one of the first shots here. Sweet's actually going to get Tiz back up there after the Widowmaker does some damage, but he gets reversed real quickly. Shots again are ringing out, and the Widowmaker's going to get challenged up top. Can they get out to safety? Widowmaker's going to drop down with very minimal health left, but Tism also find themselves in a bit of the pain train right now as shots are ringing out over the payload. Oh, it's all getting messy in the Arco. Nobody's falling over yet. There's Twizzy for one of the first one to Sweet. We're going to see Batu take out Twizzy in the trade. Blue finds one onto Stuffed Chicken. 2-1 currently for Snider.
And things as they currently stand are even once again, but unfortunately this first point is already crested, so all the battle after this point is just the treat for the side of Snider Varsity. They found their rallying point, and they are well poised to be able to take this game. Lawrence North Varsity have to find an angle right here, right now, and the hook onto Lish will be enough to condemn them. Usually you're able to see the Moira shift to get them to safety, but it clearly didn't come out in time, and with that opening and another 4v5 at hand, Snider is just going to forge even deeper.
Wow, and just face tanks the hook, knowing that the strength of the team behind them is going to be enough to be able to walk up to that Roadhog, accept the hook, take it in, get some damage dealt, and then to just step back out for the chip. This payload is going to be pushed forward into the face of R2 right now, performing exceptionally well for the Lawrence North side so far, but not being able to make their difference stand out against the compositional differential we're seeing right now.
Yep. And while Vatu is doing a hero's journey, pushing forward, constantly trying to work alongside Tiz, and Stuffed Chicken is picked with ultimate in their back pocket, and that means it's yet again an attempted man advantage. But Snider overplay their hand, and look at the response. Tiz on the back line, tears through 4, and that is a stabilizing force necessary for Red Squad to have a shot.
Yeah, we're going to see 3 ultimates strong on the Snider side. We're going to see 4 stacked up from Lawrence North. So if you thought you'd seen amazing action from Overwatch 2, ladies and gentlemen, just wait, because this next engagement, this next extended battle is going to be absolutely ballistic. There are going to be animations going off everywhere as everything starts to heat up, Nyako, and here we go.
Vatu immediately opening with an ultimate, going to only be able to land onto 1. That being said, it is going to convert into 2 separate kills. Tsunami Kid and Hellos are both going to die. Tsunami Kid gets the Consider Rush off, but I don't think it matters with so many people gone. Lil Mosh Pit and Blue are both going to fall. Twizzy actually get a desperation swap back over to the Junkrat, but while that did take an ultimate out of the side of Lawrence North Varsity, there's still 2 in their back pocket. They can actually hold this with 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, this is actually the kind of play we needed to see from Lawrence North after the cart got so heavily delayed on the Snider defense. We're going to see Lawrence North start to put themselves into position to deny space to the payload now, make it even harder for the Snider side to get back to the point.
Batu needs to be topped off here, but is going to be sniped. And once again, Lish and Sweet just don't have enough burst healing to be able to stabilize the tank from basically nothing. That being said, Sweet manages to get a lucky res off. Lil Mosh Pit had to walk back out of there, and so we're right back on the re-engage, and Stuffed Chicken comes in on the flank. They're going to tear apart the entirety of Snider.
This is it. This is exactly what they needed. With 2 minutes left on the clock, Lawrence North are going to again smash their way back onto this payload and stop the Snider approach and aggression and advance. We're going to see this Tiz and Genji pushing up even into the archway, just trying to be as much of a nuisance as possible. Just try and drain that time down even further so that the Snider side do not get a chance to steal another game like we saw they did from the control map in the best of 5. inside of the building here. Blue's trying to find some magic off the corner, but it's not going to be finding anything but an absolute barrage of abuse sent back their way.
Yeah, that being said, we are looking at Blue with Bob available, trying to push on in with this, but Vatu, on the other hand, has crested to an ultimate of their own. Lish immediately popping the Coalescence as soon as they get it up, and that's going to be enough to pick off Hellos. Little Mosh Pit goes down as well, and with Bob firing off, this could have been a wasted ultimate on the side of Snider Varsity. Lawrence North have now moved it to a minute left between them and victory in this entire series, and they're doing so with immense momentum at their back.
Yeah, and I mean, if we thought the Snider Varsity side had got themselves some nice fat D brakes, disc brakes for that bike, it seems like Lawrence North have got themselves a G clamp for the brakes, holding it strong, even stronger so. We're not going to see anything happen as Tsunami Kit gets taken out again. And Snider, I mean, with 40 seconds left on the clock, Nyarko, you've really got to be looking for something magic at this point.
The value is that we are about to see Tsunami Kit, Twizzy, both get their ultimates available, and you look at what they have in comparison to what is going to take over in time for the side of Lawrence North. Stuffed Chicken having a high noon flank probably is going to be called out from here on out if Snider are in fact adjusting, and it's not a great pick, honestly. Sweet is going to be killed in the midst of their Valkyrie, so there's only one opportunity here for Lawrence to turn the tide of this battle, and here comes the ultimate from Twizzy. Riptire immediately dropped on top of Tizen. You cannot parry that one, as Stuffed Chicken will be able to get the revenge kill onto Hellos, but currently it is contact on the point in favor of Snider Varsity. Little Mosh Pit with a full health bar trying to push forward, but Tsunami Kid and Hellos are both dead, and that is a nightmare scenario for this Junker Crew, which once again needs the backing of the full team in order to make a mark right here. Twizzy is picked up, and look at the return fire. Tiz and Sweet and Stuffed Chicken are all dead, but Lawrence North Varsity are slowly advancing forward. Vatu with the hero play right on top of their fellow tank, going to be able to bring them down. Tsunami Kid and Hellos trying to keep contact on the point, but the overtime will tick down, and it's going to be Lawrence North Varsity walking away 2-0.
I cannot believe what I just saw. 2 versus 3. The Snider side had the third member's health bar literally balancing on the edge of that cliff face, ready to fall off and let the floodgates open home, and fall off it did. Lawrence North push home a ridiculously strong punch in this match.
And what a showing. Absolute domination coming out of the side of Lawrence North Varsity. Although the strengths of Snider definitely were tested to by the fact that we had that incredibly good hold on the first point. It didn't convert into anything. Lawrence North Varsity Overwatch are going to be able to walk away 2-0, I believe. And that is the end of things. Congratulations to Snider for putting up such a fight and also giving us insight into what it is to play esports at this level. But right now, this is all Lawrence North Varsity.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very strong from the Lawrence North side at this moment in time. If you are Snider, Snider Varsity, at this moment in time, you're thinking, okay, there's a lot of good talking points. We made some good, strong pushes. There was a lot of good aggression. We had really good control over the payload for a large amount of time. On the flip side to that match we just saw there was a couple of adjustments that you made, and like we say, there are victors and there are learners. Everybody comes away with something to work from, whether it's a trophy to say you did well or some knowledge to learn from to improve on for the next match. I think we'd look to Snider to maybe be a little bit more crucial on that ultimate use, be a little bit more efficient, or stack up with a team member or two and make sure that it's not just being cast out into the open and lost to the abyss of an unsuccessful attempt.
Yeah, absolutely the case. I mean, Snider Varsity currently have the ability to rally, and they've had very close calls. You know, a 2-1 count on Busan, turning into a hold on only 1 point for the side of Lawrence North Varsity, and they were just a few feet away from taking that. If something just went slightly in their favor, this could have been a very different story so far in this best of 5, but as I'm currently looking at it, you also got to take momentum into account. Lawrence North Varsity Overwatch have demonstrated that at the end of the day, when the cards fall, they are the ones coming out on top twice in a row. And frankly, I think that they're doing so while limiting themselves in a way off those 2 supports. I don't know, Cracked Wisdom, if we could see an alteration to that part of their composition, we could see a thorough stomp here in the 3rd game of the series. But this is also for something for Snider Varsity to maybe try to exploit, answer back against, play some more assassins, blow up that backline, make a name for yourselves as we are moving on over to Esperanza, our push map.
Yeah, you would look at approaching this, I think, as a Snider coach or a Snider team member from a great defense is supported by a phenomenally strong offense, and I think that the Widowmaker that was getting some crucial picks in the opening start of the round was part of that tempo you talk so critically about, and so well so to the point, because as the wisdom within that shows, Overwatch 2 is a very tempo-based game, so maybe getting somebody up there aggressively from this Snider Varsity side to challenge that Widowmaker early so they don't have that open window of headshots to begin with might just be a way back into this game.
I always love to see what compositions come out here for the push map, because this is, I think, the style of game and the mode in which you are most demanded to coordinate with the rest of your team. Varsity, though, going to just try to work as the front line of the ages on this Doomfist pickup. Going to be facing off against now Lil Mosh Pit actually converting over to the Sigma, so a very different look, and I love this as the advancement for both of these sides to adjust.
Yeah, and push up we shall. Starting to take space, set up for this initial approach. Snider are going to find themselves trying to collapse through this little choke point down by the stairs here. Just testing it a little bit. Decide that that's not the initial point of aggression they're going to find. They're going to go inside the building to begin with, actually, and try and cover up that door frame. As you see, our Lawrence North team also trying to fight up their side of the door frame as well. Just stacking up 5 versus 5. We see a little bit of that width brought out now. That Widowmaker taking a bit of that early aggression we were looking for to see Snider be successful.
Absolutely. Stuffed Chicken moving forward alongside the rest of their team, looking for a good vantage point, but I think you need to get out of this mid part of the lobby before the Widowmaker can really be valuable. Otherwise, you're just massively exposed, and we saw that come into being here. Sweet able to get a lucky res off, luckily, to keep the front line going in the side of Lawrence North Varsity Overwatch, but right now it is a push favoring Snider. However, they have lost Brady, and without the Mercy, they don't have a res for their side.
Yeah, that's it. Sweet picks one back up, and in the meantime, Lish puts one down. A second follows. Blue gets their health reduced to absolutely nothing, and then eventually, after it battery bars back up, it gets taken immediately back down even quicker than the first time around. And we're going to see Lawrence North take a very, very good opening engagement that's going to leverage them everything other than just a team kill.
Yeah, that is a great job by Lawrence North Varsity. Like I said, not only getting the tables turning, but beyond that, also getting to a more favorable position for players like Stuffed Chicken to begin to make a mark. You see how there are those sniper windows up here that can be occupied by either assassins or by snipers, and right now, it is in fact going to be a zoning attempt by Tizen that is going to be called out beautifully. Blue, with a great angle there, is just going to be able to wipe out the Genji, and now I'm a little bit afraid that the problem is, while that is happening, Stuffed Chicken is able to begin to reign supreme, and as Brady taken out, going to immediately swap over to this Reaper, and here comes the ultimate from the Widowmaker to expose everybody else on the map. Soldier 76 can't get out of this one alive, as we do also get Lil Mosh Pit over on the Orisa.
Yeah, you made a really good point there, and the one thing that's going to happen to this Widowmaker is, once they find themselves getting challenged, if you communicate that to your team, you're going to start getting in the face of the people that are trying to challenge the Widowmaker, and then when you open that window again and give space for the Widowmaker as the ultimate comes out from Varsity and finds a great pick onto Helios, you're going to get yourself knocked out by those snipes whilst you've been distracted as a third-party punch. It's all action, all inside, as Blue and Brady actually find 2 quick returning kills, but Batu is still standing strong. Sweet's going to pick up Tizen with the revive, and Lish is going to use that ultimate to take out Tsunami Kit. It's all going down Nyako.
And this might actually turn into a complete stomp. I wasn't expecting this, but look at the yardage that has been built up by Lawrence North Varsity. They've gotten past the halfway checkpoint, and now there's only a little bit more that they have to shove. A few more fights at hand, and right now there's 3 members of Snider Varsity who are dead. They have fallen apart here in what could be the decisive 3rd game.
I didn't realize it was a push train and not a push bot with the speed that this has been traveling from the center of the map towards the Lawrence North aggression. The advantage that they have created for themselves has put them so far that they are literally on the threshold, on the precipice of being able to slam home this 3rd game with the push bot here. It's going to be a final push from the Snider side, and I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yeah, that being said, Sweet has fallen here, but that's 2 support ultimates used back-to-back in order to try to get Snider Varsity a little bit of help. Unfortunately, they're going to lose Blue once again, so for the time being, it was a 4v4, turning now into a 3v4 as Stuffed Chicken is taken out. Varsity trying to make space for his team, unfortunately, is going incredibly low. Lish and Sweet not quite there, able to get an angle to help this Doomfist out, and that means that now Lawrence North Varsity are staggered. This is the best chance so far that we've seen coming out of Snider. They need to walk this spot over.
I'm going to be honest with with you, Nyako. I actually caught something for the first time in my minimal Overwatch experience that I'm really surprised to say that I saw. The spear that came out of Lil Mosh Pit actually nailed the Doomfist from being able to get in the action. It was a really clutch use of it. Actually pinned him to the wall for a second, which stopped all of that aggression that Batu was putting out. And Batu, the unstoppable, got stopped, and it's going to be massive. Brady coming in with the Death Blossom is going to pick up 2. Little Mosh Pit's there to back up for the 3rd, and Stuff Chicken falls over as well. Nyako, it looks like Snider all day long for a second now.
Yep, there's a lot of time that they have to take in order to push this out, but luckily they have the tools with which to do so. The problem is you're looking at this other side. If Lawrence North Varsity can stand as 5 once again, as Tizen is picked, and they can't do that right now, you do have the Doomfist Ultimate and the Genji Dragon Blade back to back. 2 of the strongest choices right here to divide and conquer the Snider roster. We're going to see what happens as they hit the midpoint, whether or not they can continue the momentum.
But look, crucially, Lil Mosh Pit has that ultimate ready as well. That was that direct counter, stopping the Doomfist from being able to get in and close the gap. Something used so successfully well, but here goes Brady, and it's all about to hold up Nyako.
Yeah, unfortunately, just immediately going to be stuffed and punished as soon as he approaches the Doomfist. Tsunami Kid also dead, and so I don't even think you need the ultimates anymore. Lish is going to fire off this Coalescence just as a consolation, and Lawrence North Varsity are going to be able to wipe through the remaining members of the Blue squad, including Blue. Hellos goes down, Little Mosh Pit is isolated, taken out, and now the main goal for the Moira is just to keep Sweet alive more so than knock out everybody else, because one thing to note about Lawrence North Varsity is that they trust each other. They know exactly how to coordinate, how to bring the aggro to one person or another, and that is going to lead to another one fight. And like I said, a big ult advantage that can bring them to victory. Notably, looking at Tsunami Kit and Blue as the 2 main operators that can turn this around here and now, but I really think there's only one fight left for the side of Snider.
And now that initial barricade has been pushed very deep into the territory for Lawrence North, the bot is pushing strong. And speaking of oh no, you're absolutely right. No is being said to all of the members of Snider right now. No, you shall not stop this push bot. No, you shall not stop Lawrence North. And no, you shall not be allowed any form of an insight or a glimpse to potentially take home this game. Tizen steps up, Tsunami Kick goes down. Lish slams one onto Hellos. Stuffed Chicken follows up onto Lil Mosh Pit. And names are flooding down the right-hand side of the screen as Lawrence North success is flooding out in front of our eyes.
And they need to be able to touch. Tsunami Kit has a stabilizing ultimate in the form of the Kitsune Rush that can get people out of the point, but unfortunately, Blue and company just have to stagger right now in order to keep the dream alive and stop the push from commencing. Finally, we see the ultimates come out of both Hellos and Tsunami Kit, and they will be able to pick off 2 as a response. Tizen goes down 2. Batu and Subcheck, the last was left alive, and I think with the swap over to the Lucio, that is going to be enough for Snider Varsity to bring this back. They have one more push.
They need to make this bot move. They've got to make this play count, and you are absolutely crucially right there, Nyako. The Lucio, the swap at the last point, the slight team compositional shift might have just been the difference maker in that little clutch battle there. The bot is now going to approach the halfway line and start to make his way towards the Snider Varsity barricade to push that further towards their chance for success. It's 50.
Oh, Reese are really far forward here. This is a worrying position to be in. Almost a pick coming out there. Luckily, Hellos had the lantern available in order to bring everybody a brief stint of immortality, but still, Lil Mosh Pit off the overextension is going to fall. That is a disaster. Stuffed Chicken traded back, luckily, as now maybe Vatu is too far forward, but as I say that, it is going to be the tidal wave of Lawrence North crashing upon Snider Varsity and taking all their lives.
Yeah, this is just phenomenal dominance when it comes to Lawrence Varsity. I think Lawrence North are going to find themselves the success here. I would be very surprised to see Snider be able to stop this push at this moment in time, as the Reaper's going to try and get into the back line and cause some chaos. He actually just managed to find Stuffed Chicken, but Vatu is more than man for the trade. 2 down, 1 on each side is going to find a level advantage, and nobody getting themselves the lead in this battle to begin with. The ball is going to be stood still in place, but it's halfway. Oh, never mind, actually. Snider managing to get enough members onto the bot for a moment to contest it.
Batu somehow able to stabilize there, gets the health back after that big majestic leap towards their side of the map. Notably, Lil Mosh Pit still has their ultimate available, hasn't found a really good chance by which to use it. There's a lot of maneuverable members on the side of Lawrence North Varsity, but it may also not be needed. Great stuff coming out of the side of Snider to be able to pick off multiple members. The problem is, Stuffed Chicken somehow stands tall throughout it all, and yet again, they're gonna get control of the point.
I think this is going to be the push towards the end as well. Stuffed Chicken has played absolutely phenomenally through all 3 games we've seen today so far. Absolutely making moves work, both on the ranged and on the close quarters heroes champions that we're seeing coming in here now. The Soldier doing work. been on the Widowmaker earlier, and it just looks like a
Oh,
great performance all round. Wow, Brady nails one, though.
and the snapback. Unfortunately, Stuffed Chicken and Sweet tried to stand forward on and push this bot in when they should have just held it in place, because without the rest of the team around them, now they're picked, and look at how the tables are turning. Yet again, it's going to be progress being made by Snider Varsity. They have a full 5-stack looking to clash. It's going to be 3 ults v4 ults once everybody's back up, and notably Tizen doesn't have the Mercy at their back to keep them topped off. It's going to be up to the Genji to get back over to Lish and company, but while this is happening, Stuffed Chicken is just going to die again. Hello's going to be the trade back. We're going to see if that's enough. That's a lot of healing taken away from Snider Varsity, and here comes Batu looking for the ult onto the backline, but spends so long in the air that while this is happening, both Sweet and Lish are going to die, and while Blue is taken out, Lil Moshpit is still alive alongside Brady and Tsunami Kid, trying to make something out of this play. Batu jumping forward, looking to take out the Lucio here. Reaper teleporting to safety, jumping on top of Stuffed Chicken, who's falling one more time, and now the push is going to recommence. Finally, Snider Varsity gonna be able to get some yardage down. Unfortunately, Brady is too far forward, forcing the ult out of Lil Moshman, and it'll find nothing. Lawrence North Varsity bring it right back. We're now deep into overtime, and so Snider has to hold here and now if they want a chance at extending this series, but they may be denied that opportunity as Blue falls, and now the wick is burning.
Yeah, absolutely. Brady is the last alive, and that is going to be all she wrote in Game 3, and Lawrence North takes us all the way to the tip-top of the mountain and claims the victory. 3-0, and I'm going to be honest with you, the phenomenal play out of all of this lineup was thoroughly deserving of the victory today. Just when tested, time and time again, rising to the occasion and outperforming their opposing partner.
And it's really sad that this is going into the annals of history as a 3-0. I urge everybody, if you've seen this series and you hear someone say, hey, did you see that Snider got 3-0'd by Lawrence North Varsity? Show them what it actually looked like, because every one of these games was close. It was just simply no cigar for Snider.
I have to agree with you there. There is absolutely nothing as a Snider team member to be taking home as one of the woes of battle. The only woe that you have to face there is that on the day, it did not fall in your favor. A great resurgence from all of the members there, trying their very best. We saw shades of gold, almost pieces of platinum when that round was stolen, sniped by Snider University in the first of the best of 3, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't end up capitalizing into that crystal performance we were looking for to take the top tier challenge and the crown from the best of 5.
That being said, credit to them, and certainly we will be seeing Snider Varsity plying their trade across games on the top tables. They are great players. They have an incredible support network, and you see how many of these people are all rallying around one another. You see the discussions here on the player cams right after the game, reflecting upon what happened and what's going to happen next. And here is the ultimate breakdown of what occurred. 2-0 scoreline in that second game, that 2-1 you were talking about, Cracked Wisdom, and then we're rallying there at the end on Esperanza, 1-0 in favor of an incredible Lawrence North Varsity Overwatch comp, who also need to be congratulated for a stellar performance here.
Yeah, I mean, if we were allowing decimal points into scorelines to confuse the guys at home, you would probably say that Game 2 was a 2 to 1.9 and that Game 3 was a 1 to 0.9 because Snider were so good, so strong in responding to the Lawrence North aggression on multiple different occasions, including that clutch-up switch to the Lucio that was one of the highlights for us there in that last game. Some great features from both teams and a phenomenal performance all round. A well played and GG's, and definitely nothing to be ashamed of from today.
Absolutely. Well, as we bring it over to a close on this series, of course, we have to thank everybody who makes this possible. And top of the list for me, of course, is Zotac. We want to give a huge shout out to them time and time again for all the support that they are bringing at the high school and middle school levels. They power every single one of the broadcasts that we're doing here for IEN, WASIA, and beyond. And it's thanks to their incredible support that we are able to spread the gospel here of high school esports and what it brings to the table to all of you watching at home. So let's show our appreciation for Zotac in the chat. Make sure to give them a shout out on social media as well. You can use the hashtags powered by Zotac or Zotac USA when you post. And if you want more information, make sure that you tag !Zotac into the chat. We'll see you guys around soon. But Cracked Wisdom, anything before you close out for the day?
Always grateful to be here on the casting desk, whether it be any form of competitive esports or even just yapping and waffling away so that the guys at home in the chat can enjoy this wonderful production. Like you said, a massive thank you from myself, firstly, for being allowed to be here, and secondly, like you said, to all of the support that comes from the background, production, the power that is the sponsors, the partners, and the players, everybody else that goes into making this thing a great experience that it is. We support and salute you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.